This is it. This is the big one. This is the one you wait for. When you open a show with an RIP segment,
I don't wait for it.
This is the one that you wait to come down the pike.
No.
Is it the pike or the pipe? If it's coming down the pipe, you don't want to be in front of a pipe when something comes out of a pipe. Things that are in pipes because you don't want them. Unless it's a pipe full of ice cream or something like that.
I guess.
Can you pump ice cream? It's too thick.
It is too thick.
Yeah.
I think Willy Wonka would find a way, though.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. He had like pipes full of chocolate.
He did.
But then they would send you to the factory or whatever. Mm-hmm. This is going great. So
yeah. Okay. Sorry.
What a legend. What a talent. Betty White has passed away.
I know.
At the age of 99. Although it's been pointed out, it's kind of funny, I guess, that she, having lived so long, almost 100, yes. She's going to turn 100 on the 17th. She's lived through January. 24 leap. The 17th. When you're in a month and you say a number with "th" after it, people just know. Yeah. Okay. And then if there's one big "th," like Juneteenth, that's in June. You didn't say. I just expected you to say that.
No, I didn't.
So anyway. But living through, add 24 onto that because of the 24 leap years that she lived through. She lived through quite a lot her life, and it's impossible. I'm not even going to try to go through her entire, how could you, her entire her resume, her CV. But, she got her start in radio. Mm. She wanted to be in Hollywood, and they told her that she wasn't photogenic enough.
Which is BS.
I know. It's the same day that Lana Turner came in. What are you going to do? And so she went onto the radio and had the Betty White Show on the radio, which was later turned into a TV show, a variety show when she was on TV. So she was a variety show. Yeah. She was a volunteer, the Women's Auxiliary in World War II.
Oh, wow.
And somebody was making a point the other day that there's, they're just listing all the things that that Betty White predates. Sure. And what a great thing to bring up because can't remember it now. Oh. But a lot of things.
That's okay.
And she dated a guy whose last name was Allen, and she married a guy whose last name was Allen, and a guy whose first name was Allen. So Carson or somebody asked her what she would do at the pearly gates, and she's like, "Oh, I'll go looking for Allen. Take me to Allen.
Just ask her Allen."
Yeah. And she was, a believer in animal welfare.
Yeah, she did a lot with
causes,
animal rights.
Did a lot for animals.
Yep.
She spoke in support of LGBTQ rights. Mm-hmm. And I mean,
she did a lot.
Three or four all-time great sitcoms.
Yeah, no freaking kidding. Well, I saw this video. It was talking about a lot of different things that she did, and I think it was the Betty White Show. She had a couple different iterations of that, but there is a performer, I can't remember his name now, which is great. But he's a dancer and he's black, and he was featured on the show. And I guess there were some people in southern states that were complaining about him being featured so prominently, and Betty White was just like, deal with it. And then she put him on even more. And there was also a video of him talking, and he said that she really gave him his start in Hollywood and performing and that sort of thing. Yeah. But yeah, okay, Golden Girls, amazing. All the ladies, the four leads on Golden Girls, and I do think of them as four leads, were amazingly talented, but Betty White, it was just such a joy to watch and to see her to continue to perform. And she was just so open and warm and just a really wonderful person, it seemed like. And very humble. And yeah, it's just really sad that she's gone. But I mean,
if you're writing a 100 years old special for her,
yeah.
Do you have 2 scripts? I mean, when you're just...
they're still answer that!
They're still going to air this special on the 17th January in honor of her that they had planned.
Yeah.
But I don't know, maybe you don't, because she just felt like such a mainstay that you're just like, well, obviously she's going to
she's obviously going to make
100
it.
and beyond.
Yeah, I think we kind of thought about that.
Rewrite it quick, or do you call Ryan Reynolds back in for one extra little thing? But
I know. She I saw something that was like, have you seen the meme that was like Legos? It's like from like 0 to 99 or whatever, and then like it's like last year that you can play Legos, and like
doing everybody else's jokes.
Yeah, somebody was like, I blame Legos. Like Legos killed her.
That's not funny.
No,
how's that funny?
Okay.
Somebody else is like, oh, she didn't die. She grabbed 2021 by the throat and said, "You're going to hell with me, son of a bitch." And she took it. It's like, what is anybody talking about?
I don't know.
It's like when they do the paintings of like Colin Powell, getting to heaven and shaking hands with Strom Thurmond or something like that, and Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are crying tears of joy or I don't know.
Wow, it's so complicated.
I can't get into these people's minds. I don't know what they're thinking. I just, how do you get the Beatles together? 2 bullets. Used to be 3 bullets.
Whoa.
Or 2 tumors.
That's not okay.
Look, that's as good as the Betty White stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, okay. All right.
Congratulations, Betty White, on a life well lived.
No, we're gonna miss you. You were joy.
Should have stopped talking a while ago.
Okay.
I think I lost it halfway through your touching words about her. I'm tired of talking about. I want to retire this segment. I hate it.
Well, I don't love it either. It's not joyous. It's not
when
happy.
Steven Spielberg dies of a broken heart because nobody wanted to watch West Side Story, we don't talk about it. What do you say? Make a deal right now.
What do you say? He was a legend. It's true.
Yeah, he was a legend, and then the 90s began.
You just don't stop. You just say he was a legend.
Then I saw War of the Worlds.
Yeah, right. You don't say.
Or was it War Horse? How many war movies does he want to do?
I don't know. He's obsessed, I guess.
I mean, if he's opening the door, and I know he doesn't consider it this, but he did a remake. You did a remake, Stevie.
Yeah.
So where does it stop? Just start remaking everything now.
Well, but it didn't do well, so maybe that'll encourage him to not remake stuff.
I don't know. Can you tell him anything?
Can you tell any of these people who have been around for forever anything? Like him, George Lucas, who I guess, he handed off Star Wars. So I don't know what else he's doing these days. But
he's making smaller, more personal films.
Is that actually coming to fruition? No. I know that's what he said.
Yeah.
Or like Scorsese.
On the 17th. That's this month.
Yeah.
Yeah, Scorsese. Look, man, I'm fed up. I'm fed up with a lot of it.
Yeah.
I'm tired. Mm-hmm. I don't want to do anything. But here we are. To talk about a new year. You'd think, new year, new you. You're energized. Uh-huh. Turns out, working up till the end of the year and then going through the holidays might mean that you are very, very sad and tired in January.
Yeah.
Which is what I got going on. You?
Yeah. I mean, I think January and February are some of the hardest months just because you're just sick of winter. Snow isn't pretty anymore. It's like dirty and cold and
January hardest month. I'm getting some results for that.
Yeah. It's just so.
I never thought of it that way.
It's so dark too.
You can make it through Christmas.
Yes.
Don't the rates go up on Christmas?
I don't know.
Long distance rates. Oh, you're calling grandma.
Oh, long distance rates.
No,
Okay.
All right. I'm fed up and mad. You are very slow. We are both not ready for this.
You can't.
That's why it's a perfect time to talk about one of the most provocative films that gets everything as wrong as you possibly can, and yet somehow is a stylistic masterpiece. The movie is Strange Days.
Yes. From
Catherine Bigelow. When people talk about the later films of Michael Mann, which I can't stand. Actually, I can't stand half of his films. Half of his films are some of my favorite films ever. The other half, when he's on, he's on. Mm-hmm. When he's off, it's a beautiful movie. Well, who cares if it's beautiful? That's not why I watch movies. It's apparently why a lot of people watch movies.
It's not why I watch movies.
Well, it's not why I watch movies. But anyway, a movie of style, and gracefully, artfully made that is about a new year. It's about New Year's. It's about the new millennium.
It is.
And the new world that we find ourselves barreling into. I don't really know what it's about.
It's about a lot
because I'm not sure it's about anything.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about it. A little late for New Year's, but, that's how the shows come out. What do you want from me?
Yeah. Right.
This is Just Enough Show Podcast. I'm your host, Caliban, I think, joined by my co-host.
Hi, I'm Mika Hana.
And that's what we're going to do.
Yes.
Before we begin.
Oh, boy.
Does anybody want to get out?
Does anybody want to get out?
Anything that you want to say?
Oh,
Because it's just going to be me screaming for the next hour.
Well, you did also mention,
I'm being honest with the audience.
I know.
I'm being honest.
I know.
I guess we could just not do the show.
We could.
But I'm not happy about stuff. I'm unhappy about things. All right, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh my God.
Sorry.
I can't remember his name right now, but one of the guys who...
Ooh, that's good. Ask me a bunch of questions. I'm good at answering questions.
The guy who directed and produced Big Little Lies and...
yeah, we're going to talk about him.
Sharp Objects. We were going to talk about him?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you want to fit him in the... Okay, he gets to go in the RIP then. Except for the fact that you can't remember his name.
I can't remember his name,
we've
but...
done a terrible job eulogizing two different people now.
But I started watching Big Little Lies
great.
this past week, and you were like giving me a hard time because he had just passed away, and I didn't know what you were talking about. Like I had literally just started watching it on my own.
Right, but don't oversell his. I'm sure that he has a deep involvement, but he's a director of that series. Big Little Lies is a David E. Kelly series. It's an Ally McBeal series.
Right.
He is a director.
Okay.
And but I'm sure it is developed and is produced.
He directed, I think, almost every episode of the first season, not the second season, but the first season.
Sure.
And then he also worked on Sharp Objects. Okay, it's not his project.
No, it's not his series.
But he did direct Reese Witherspoon in the film Wild as well.
Woo!
Yeah, and I read that book too.
Wow.
And Big Little Lies. Yeah. You're just upset, so we can move on.
You're supposed to ask me questions.
Okay, tell me more about him. Yeah.
No, I won't. Yeah, he passed away. It's very sad. It's very unexpected, and somebody who has worked with so many famous actors and stuff like that, and so they all came out to say what a great guy he was, and just a talented director. And I know that it was unexpected. I don't think anybody said what it was.
I think it was like a heart attack or something.
All right, so there you go.
But he was a big health nut person.
Awesome.
I know.
Let's cancel a gym membership. But anyway, it happens. A son of Quebec has been lost.
And he also directed Dallas Buyers Club, which was kind of like his
All right, let's not.
Big
All right, let's keep it high.
Okay.
Let's keep it up.
Oh, you didn't like that? Okay. All right, moving on.
Yeah.
You're reading The Expanse.
Praise, not bury.
Okay.
Bury, not praise? Why is it he wants to bury but not praise?
Why don't you want
him?
to... Yeah.
Oh, no, okay. So that's a very...
Bury with faint praise, right? God, we're both so off tonight. I freaking hate it. I want to throw punches in the air.
Now you're feeling it. I'm going to go through a thing. It's going to be boring, but I'm going to compliment you at the end. Okay? So it's a very... I always say that, but no situation would ever be the situation that takes place in the history of the Romans and Mark Antony speaking at Caesar's funeral, right? Mm-hmm. Because Mark Antony is number 2 to Caesar, right?
Yeah.
Caesar's killed. For some reason, they decide, no, we just want the tyrant. We don't want the guy who definitely could just step into his shoes.
Right.
They don't get rid of number 2.
Which is weird.
You probably should.
Probably should.
Get in a time machine, tell Brutus that. And so they allow him to speak at Caesar's funeral because they were dumb. And he says,
"Isn't he going to take?"
And
this
is from Shakespeare, but it's also historical from Plutarch. Shakespeare might use that as a source. That he gave a speech that was not supposed to be like, "Didn't you guys all like Caesar? Aren't you mad that he's dead? Let's go get those guys." But it starts off, he's saying, "No, I'm here to bury him, and I'm not going to praise him. I'm not going to say anything nice about him. He was great. He was the greatest. I'm not going to say anything about him. Boy, if he was gone, we could just do that, you know? I think he's a hilarious person. We all want to do it, but he won't go away.
No.
So he's off limits.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he's in a situation where he is praising him, but trying to sound like he's not praising him because he's trying to start a riot. But the guys behind him are like, don't start a riot. Right? That will never be our situation. But you said you got it confused with burying with faint praise. Mm-hmm. But if you think about the fact that Caesar was an epileptic and had the fainting disease,
oh my goodness,
then he is being buried with
faint praise.
Fainting praise. I told you would enjoy the end. Let's talk about the news. Well, I don't want to dig too deeply into those who have passed away, but I do want to talk about how 2021 is like the Grim Reaper scythe just going right through the newsroom of WJM-TV. A lot of Mary Tyler Moore shows stars been lost. Cloris Leachman, of course, Gavin MacLeod, Ed Asner, and the co-creator Alan Burns.
Betty White was also on.
Yeah, I mean, we mentioned it.
Yeah.
So, really, everybody just... not funny.
It's not funny.
I just don't know how to feel about it, except to be like, Mary Tyler Moore, watch it back. Watch it.
I know. It's like they're all having a reunion in heaven, I guess is the best way you can think about it if you choose.
Be looking for Mary.
Yeah. Oh, it's sad.
Yeah, it is sad. But, you know, that's the way that it goes.
Yeah.
The show was on a long time ago.
It was.
Nobody's surprised that everybody from Gunsmoke is dead.
Right.
And so this is just the decade after Gunsmoke, right? So what do you expect? Here's somebody who's not dead, but his career is.
Uh-oh. Bob
Iger has finally left ABC Disney.
Oh, really?
Yes.
What happened?
Nothing. He had been with the company for 47 and a half years. He got his start.
He's older.
Literally, as a page or whatever. He started at the bottom and now he's here.
Wow. Okay. See you, Bob. Can't say we're going to miss you.
And being promoted to replace him, Kathleen Kennedy. I don't know if that's true.
I don't know how I would feel about that if that was the truth.
Well, I don't think you really have an opinion about Bob Iger, do you?
Well, didn't he kind of stop some things in Marvel from happening and kind of No,
that's a different guy. That's Isaac Perlmutter.
Oh, okay.
Iger has in a lot of ways been the architect of the Marvel deal, the Lucasfilm deal.
Oh, okay.
And the Fox buy as well.
Okay.
So
I guess I was
when
confusing
Spider-Man, fights Luke Skywalker and Wolverine at the same time, you can thank Bob Iger for that.
Okay. All right.
He's retiring to spend more time with his money. I don't know. He's not married.
Oh, okay. Well, his hobbies. I don't know.
Sometimes you hear about that somebody's kind of been pushed out.
Do you think that's what happened?
I didn't hear that. The guy's literally worked for this company for 50 years. You know what I mean? So it kind of makes sense. I don't think that anything will necessarily change. I mean, he was definitely the person who was pushing a lot of these acquisitions, but I don't think Disney's going to stop acquiring, right? That's just what a big company does.
Yeah.
And I don't think that he made any major creative decisions. Other than, we want to get Spider-Man into this thing.
Of course.
So that's not going to change anything in the MCU, probably.
Okay.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
All right. Be interesting to see who replaces him then.
It will be interesting to see. Won't it?
Yeah.
It will.
Yeah.
Do you know that John Madden had passed away?
I had heard that. Yes. I don't know a lot.
The highway up to heaven is backed up.
Oh, yeah, it seems that way. John Madden, football player. I know that the Madden video games are named after him, right? He was a coach?
He was a coach.
See, I don't know that much about him.
I mean, I'm sure he played. I actually don't even remember. Then he was a coach for a while. He coached the Raiders.
Okay.
And then he was most famously a commentator. A sportscaster.
Oh, okay.
For years and years and years and years and years.
Okay.
And he had a 6-leg turkey that everybody got to eat on
what?
on Thanksgiving. Football's weird.
It is weird.
It's from Austin, Minnesota.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh. How old was he?
All famous people from Minnesota get the heck out of Minnesota and then become gigantic, and they never talk about being from Minnesota. So you're welcome. You're welcome, Sean William Scott.
Judy Garland and
Steve Zahn.
Yeah, or Rachel Lee Cook, and although I don't know what she's really doing.
Bob Dylan.
Bob Dylan.
Ever heard of him?
Yeah, Prince. Well,
Prince, no. Prince is like the... Okay.
Okay, right. Prince is the one exception, I guess.
Push the rage down. Push it down. He is the literal exception to the rule.
Yeah, I suppose he is.
And, that is... I don't think that I don't know what he's done recently. I haven't watched football in the last 15 years. But I have seen pictures of him in a yellow jacket. And he looks really old. So maybe he was doing it last season. I don't know whether he's been on the mic or not. But obviously very influential. I think he was in a plane crash, right? Early in his career.
Was he?
I think he was scared of flying, and I think he had a good reason.
Okay.
And so he famously took a bus everywhere.
Okay.
And then, of course, he's, his name is on the famous video game series that has ruined over 30 careers. And, yeah, it's I guess it's sad.
It is sad.
Seemed like a nice guy.
Yeah.
I don't know. Might have kicked his dog. Don't know.
Whoa.
And he said, boom. That was his catchphrase. Boom.
Do you... Okay, so I was thinking about this, and then I forgot, and then I remembered. Speaking of Minnesota connections, Betty White's character in Golden Girls, Rose, was from St. Olaf, Minnesota.
That's not even... Okay. So?
Okay. Never mind. Moving on.
Why is that significant?
It just was mentioned a couple of times that she's from St. Olaf, and they kept doing Scandinavian type jokes and stuff like that, and but I don't know if it was an actual language they were speaking or if it was gibberish. So I don't know.
What?
Never mind.
You have come prepared, and that's what I like. That's what I like about what you're doing. I can't tell if you're being... St. Olaf isn't even really... St. Olaf isn't a city.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, wait a minute. So they're just referring to the St. Olaf... was it college or university?
No, St. Olaf is in Northfield, but there's a St. Olaf township.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's what
Did they mean that she went to St. Olaf College?
No.
What instrument did she play?
She was from St. Olaf. Yeah, I know. She's from St. Olaf. School. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Known for their choir and everything, too.
See, now okay, all right. Peek behind the curtain. A couple days ago, I was trying to get you to do a bit with me about, schools. We had a fictional character or something like that. We were trying to figure out what college they went to because, they must be... And you were like, I don't understand. And I'm like, the colleges have reputations.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
Yeah.
And so so-and-so went there. They are what? So I can't come up with any right now. But then I said, she was into music. And you're like, yeah, I get it. Why would you get that?
Because I knew people who went to St. Olaf and
yeah, me too.
Yeah,
and they were all music majors.
Yeah, a lot of them were into music, and the choir is huge. But
okay, so I guess what I'm upset about is that you understand the concept of the bit that we were trying to do, or I was trying to do. But
I didn't understand it.
Incredibly dumb.
At the time, I didn't understand what you were getting at. Right, I apologize.
But your knowledge and friendship with the St. Olaf people predates your friendship with me.
Yeah.
As does your knowledge that St. Olaf is a music school.
Uh-huh.
So where was that knowledge a couple days ago?
I guess I wasn't thinking. Sometimes my mind just goes blank.
I can attest to that.
Great.
I'll sign off on that. Give me the sheet.
Okay.
Let's talk about The Rock.
Okay.
Do you want to talk about The Rock? It doesn't matter if you want to talk about The Rock. So you know about this whole thing. There's been 13 punches on The Rock and 13 punches on Vin. What if their barbs back and forth even had to be equal in meat space? Well, The Rock is saying, you're going to have 14 punches, brother. I don't need the last punch. Because he has refused to take Vin Diesel's bait. I think we talked about this a little while ago in the show. Vin Diesel
we misunderstood what he was saying.
I need The Rock to be in these movies.
We thought
Even
it
though
was...
I pushed him out because I'm a producer. And he said, my kids miss him. And it's what Paul would have wanted. And I guess at the time I felt like that was manipulative. But I guess I don't really know. I've only seen all of these movies once. I saw them all in one big block. I've not been paying attention to the Fastiverse.
Right.
But Dwayne Johnson made it clear in a post, not necessarily to Vin, but to everybody and his fans, saying basically, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
And it's kind of manipulative. But you've got a great movie series, and you're going to be fine without me. I'm Shazam now. He didn't say that, but he is.
He didn't need to say that.
Right. I'm the tugboat captain.
Yeah.
So, did you see that movie?
No.
Do you want it spoiled for you?
Sure.
Oh, I wish you weren't game because I want to spoil it, but I don't want to spoil it for people who might be listening.
Well, then why did you offer?
Anyways, it's very much like another Disney movie.
That gives me no clue.
A recent one, a very popular franchise. Don't guess; it doesn't matter. Okay. But the point is that maybe now that Bob Iger's gone, we can move on from that.
Okay.
What if he's like great friend? He's like wine buddies with Johnny Depp.
Oh, don't say that.
What if that's part of it?
Do you just want to cancel him?
Once he's like, oh yes, well I'm gonna miss my time here at Disney. Yeah, so you can go. You can go. Office door closes. Opens up the drawer. All right. Picks out picture of Jack Sparrow in there. Wolverine hand.
No,
it's just like, it's not worth it anymore.
So weird.
It's not worth it anymore.
So weird.
And he told the funniest stories about his ex-wife. Let's talk about the Amazon Alexa that told a 10-year-old girl to play with a live wall socket.
Are you freaking kidding me?
Oh man, I forget that you're not on the internet.
I heard that Alexas were like...
You should get on the
internet.
Like
bad and like sometimes...
There's all kinds of crazy stuff on the internet.
I hadn't heard this though.
Yeah.
Are you freaking kidding me?
Yeah. So I don't... I'm trying to avoid this story because I don't care. Yeah, kid's fine. Of course the kid's fine.
Okay.
Kid was 10 years old.
Yeah.
10-year-olds understand how light sockets work.
Yeah, right.
But apparently it said, hey, let's play a game. Alexa, let's play a game. I don't know. It's another thing that I don't know that kids know now. I was watching a YouTube video about a kid who likes to sleep in her dad's dog's kennel. And the dog's mad that she's in the kennel. And the kid is like 2.5, maybe 3, and is like just full on watching Blue's Clues on a tablet. Like children today, they will understand things that they are cyber babies.
Oh, for God's sake.
Anyway, so the kid asked Alexa, its best friend, I guess, let's play a game. And then Alexa, I don't have an Alexa, but like gives you games or whatever. Sure. Kind of like in that episode of TNG where Geordi's like, I'm bored. Computer, let's give me a quiz.
Sure.
The computer's like, what? Nerd says what? And Geordi's like, what? And so what the Alexa said was, why don't you put a penny in a light socket? Clearly, meant for like an adult. If, you can say to like Siri, hey Siri, you're fat or something. And Siri's like, it's just megabytes, not gigabytes.
Oh my God.
It's dumb stuff like that, right?
Yeah,
I'm sure that's what it was. But of course, apparently we have nothing to worry about in the world.
That's not true.
Because we put 2 cop killers away in a row. Or cop killers. I wish we put cop killers away. We put 2 cops that are killers.
Yes.
Ice-T needs to come out. The news is over. The news is over. Let's just do 10 more minutes on this. Ice-T needs to come out with a new cop killer song. Redo Cop Killer about cops that are killers.
I see what you're saying.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, you say, why not call it Killer Cop? And I say, no, in the sketch, because this is clearly a sketch, he has to explain, he has to keep stopping so no, hold on. What I'm saying is, now he's explaining that a cop is a killer, and that means that if he kills somebody, he's a cop. That's a killer. So what I'm telling you
oh my God.
is, all right, well, you do something then. That's it. There was no news this weekend. Nothing's going on. A note to all creators everywhere. Either work through the holidays like we do because we're champions, or record a bunch of stuff before the holidays, then set them to automatically release while the holidays are on.
Yeah.
Because after people are full of turkey and ham and whatever, and they've watched A Christmas Story on TBS or TNT. Actually, it's been on both, but I think it's on TNT now.
Yeah, I can't remember.
They're bored and they want to listen to a podcast, but there are no podcasts.
No.
Okay. All right. So let's get to happier things.
Yeah.
Because we still got about 10 minutes to kill. Do you have a favorite movie that you saw in 2021? Let's do it. Come on. We're talking about New Year's.
Yeah.
Right. This is the week end show wrap up. 2021 show. 2020.
God, like, okay.
Screw you, 2021. I'm going to find you.
It was such a long year. I'm having a hard time remembering things.
Remember the condo collapse in Florida? That was last year.
Wow. Seems like forever ago.
Every year, I don't really pay attention to this stuff. Plus, year by year, it just gets, there's just more stuff. But I usually do that. Time magazine. Is it Time? I can't remember. CNN or Time or whatever. They do, 300 pictures. That was the year.
Yeah,
and,
right.
It was a wild ride this year.
There's a lot going on.
Simone Biles appeared 4 times individually.
Really?
Yes. So I know that sports photography is a big part of photography, but and I know that she's like the best gymnast possibly
and the
ever.
Olympics, but yeah, that's a lot.
But yeah, she showed up like 4 times. Like, how many games were there?
Yeah, seriously.
I know the Olympics happened, but still.
Yeah.
A lot of flooding.
Well,
volcano or 2.
Yeah, a couple of different variants, I in recent memory, I guess I would I'd have to go. Gosh, I think I'm gonna have to go with Spider-Man: No Way Home.
Yeah.
No Way From Home. No Way Home. Yeah. How about you? What's your favorite?
I'm embarrassed to say that I didn't. There's a lot of movies that came out that I didn't see.
Oh yeah.
Both because I didn't, wasn't going to the theater, but also I've just sort of. I mean, we have a show where we talk about movies and reviews and stuff, but I have not kept up on a lot of films. That being said, I think maybe no, it couldn't be The Matrix, could it?
I mean, it could possibly.
I don't think it is.
Oh, okay.
I don't think it is.
All right.
Because it's not. I did enjoy The Matrix,
yeah.
and I've been thinking about it a lot. In the wake of seeing it. But I don't, not all good things, right? Like you can't be.
No.
I don't think it could be that. And it's not Eternals, right?
I don't know, is it?
Everybody hated the Eternals so much. There's no way I could pick that.
You could totally pick it.
Oh, Snake Eyes, of course. Snake Eyes.
Snake Eyes.
It might be Eternals. I really did like Eternals.
I know you did.
I don't think I can justify my love of it. But the way that everybody irrationally loves Shang-Chi when it's basically just another Marvel blockbuster with yes, it's got a ton of Asian actors in it, which is great, but that just another CGI fight at the end and it's a dragon and but everybody just like is just losing their shit over it. That's me for Eternals.
Okay, sure.
It's a CGI hand at the end instead of a dragon, but
I mean, like Shang-Chi, I'm happy that it's a movie that's like starring.
You're happy that it's a movie?
Yeah, I'm happy that it's a movie.
You're in luck.
Yeah,
it's a movie.
It's a movie. No, that
if it was a TV show, you would not be happy.
That stars a lot of Asian characters, but I agree with you. I don't think it was like a fantastic story, so I feel like we shouldn't necessarily get as excited about that, Well,
I don't want to brag, and I don't want to be treated any differently, but I have some Asian American friends.
Yeah.
And I've also watched a lot of YouTube videos by Asian American creators, and they didn't love it necessarily. Some of them liked it, okay, but a lot of them were like, it's like
it was all right.
Panda Express.
It wasn't right. Right. It wasn't offensive, but it wasn't fantastic.
Yeah, there's nothing about it that really said like, whoa, this is China. China is here, Mr. Burden.
Right. This blew my mind.
You know what it was? I know what it is. It was Thrice Upon a Time. It was Evangelion 3.0 plus 1.0.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Gotcha. I haven't seen that. Because I don't think I've seen the second film. So.
Oh.
Or maybe even the first.
There's 4 of them, but yeah.
Oh, fake fan.
Gotcha. I've been meaning to write a review of it, and I keep not writing a review because I have no idea what I would put in the review. A review is maybe this is the review. A review is ostensibly about giving your recommendation to somebody, and I can't recommend this film to you. If it is interesting to you, you have seen it. And if it is not interesting to you, I don't think that there's anything there for you. Mm-hmm. And then, like, what if you're a fan or not a fan of Evangelion? We're right down the line there, too. Half the fans of Evangelion are mad that it even exists. Sure. The other half have probably already been transformed in their lives by it.
Yeah.
But I think that you definitely need to... Sure, it's a spectacle, and there's a story, I suppose, but it's like The Matrix. It's the new thing. The new zombies is nostalgia, and you are required to have a familiarity, in fact, a intimate familiarity with the show for the movies to really pay off at all. Yeah. All the zags they're doing that are opposite of the zigs in the original show only have context when you know the show. Mm-hmm. But if you have seen the entire show and you've seen End of Evangelion, and then you watch these films, it does what The Matrix wanted to do, and what it, at its best, did do, but did not do for its entire run. It just nails it.
That's awesome.
It just rewards you for being a fan up to this point.
That's really cool.
It justifies its existence. It's like, this was worth doing in the first place. We all had our doubts, and then it also continues to build on all the weird, trippy meta ideas, about a creator and his creation and just the unique storytelling and the playing with the idea of storytelling. It just takes that to its ultimate thing, and it isn't just a guy going, WB wants us to do this, so we gotta do it.
I know.
It's like, all right, look, I feel for you, lady, but yeah. I mean, I'm still watching your movie here, so. At home.
Yeah. You actually, I want to change my answer having listened to you. I'm going to go, and it's kind of a twofer, but they're related.
Music. Sia's movie music. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No. I haven't seen it, and I don't know that I want to.
Yeah, I don't think you should.
But the Sailor Moon Eternal movies.
Oh, okay.
It's a 2-part movie, and it was released on Netflix in the United States. And fans are also mixed on whether or not they liked this.
Yeah.
But it's essentially the 4th season of Sailor Moon Crystal. And what I like about it is because it follows the manga pretty closely. So in the 4th arc of the manga, that's what the movies are. And some people had some criticisms, and I get it. Like, they shoved everything into like an hour and a half movies. So it's essentially like 3-4 hours instead of like several like half-hour episodes, and some people were like, oh, I wish they had, put it out more and like drawn it out more and like given it the time that I feel like it needed. But I got very emotional watching just the trailer for it. Like, I watched the trailer for it like multiple times before I could even see the movie. And it just was emotional just getting to see those parts in the manga like animated. So I think for me, I mean, it's not quite the same thing as what you were talking about with the Evangelion film. It's not like, oh, this is the reason why this exists. But to me, it was rewarding me for being a fan of the manga, and not like, oh, this is the ultimate, penultimate thing. And like, this is why this exists. But just like, you've waited to see these things that didn't necessarily make it into the 90s anime. And here you go. So I think I just really enjoyed seeing that.
Well, cool.
Yeah.
And my nonfiction pick would be probably Val.
I would agree with that 110%. I've been thinking about that movie quite a bit. And it gets you emotional when you think about it, I feel like. Just that he's just been through so much, and I feel like I have a more of appreciation of him as a performer and an artist.
And as an owner of turquoise jewelry as well.
Yes.
Listen to me, I'm your priest. I'm your shrink. I'm the Santa of the subconscious. My own personal Jesus Christ.
Oh my God.
Wait, that's Depeche Mode.
Yeah.
And The Matrix.
Yeah.
We're talking about the movie Strange Days.
It's pretty strange.
Oh, but it's more days. By a little film... She's not little, she's tall. Filmmaker named Catherine Bigelow.
Yes.
Post Point Break, pre The Hurt Locker.
Yes.
And where's Near Dark Fit? That was in the 80s too, right?
I think.
Yeah.
I want to say yes.
Doing movies. Working with James Cameron.
Yes.
I think they were maybe married still. Maybe they weren't married still. Because Titanic was 96. No, they weren't married anymore.
Oh, okay.
Or maybe they were.
I don't know when they
I don't
split.
keep track of that for him. But he did come up with a story, and he co-wrote the script with a screenwriter named Jay Cox.
Yep.
And it's not... I don't know, man. When you go to Ellis Island, they're like, you don't want the X, huh? Okay. Off you go. Who has only written like a couple films, but they're all kind of big.
Okay.
He wrote or co-wrote The Age of Innocence with Martin Scorsese.
Okay.
One of my favorite films.
Yeah.
Also wrote Gangs in New York with Martin Scorsese.
Okay.
One of my least favorite films. I don't love it.
I don't think I've seen it.
And also did Silence with Martin Scorsese, which we steadfastly refuse to watch for some reason. Someday we're going to watch Silence and then maybe shut the entire network down. Silence! It's the story of the Christian missionaries in Japan.
Oh, okay.
It's 3.5 hours of people being crucified and hiding in bushes and stuff like that.
Okay.
You know how like Andrew Garfield always looked like he's going to cry in Spider-Man?
Yeah.
Well, he finally gets to just really let her rip.
Oh my God.
In Silence.
Great.
He never stops crying.
Awesome.
And he's swinging from a web too. I thought it was weird. Kind of anachronistic.
It's weird. It's a weird choice.
Here's the funny thing about this film. So he collaborated with Catherine Bigelow on this movie, Strange Days. Mm-hmm. A movie that I think that we can... I would posit is a cyberpunk film. Mm-hmm. I think it is influenced by cyberpunk and also by noir, as a lot of cyberpunk is. Mm-hmm. He and Scorsese approached Philip K. Dick in 1969 to adapt the novel Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep?
Oh.
Which never ended up happening, of course. Mm. Instead, Hampton Fancher and Ridley Scott made Blade Runner.
Right.
But if this guy who has some cyberpunk ideas, maybe he's getting them out. He's like, I didn't get to make Blade Runner, but now I'm going to make Strange Days. And get all my ideas out there.
Yeah.
So interesting, just to think of what could have happened there.
Oh, that is interesting. This movie it reminds you almost every minute that it's taking place in the 90s. It doesn't let you forget. Yes.
Yes, it doesn't. And the funny thing is I don't know if you remember, but in the 90s, first of all, unfortunately, no one can be told how crazy people in the 90s were about the millennium coming.
No.
A lot of movies about that.
Yes.
There are also a lot of movies about computers and technology.
Y2K. Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
But just like hackers.
Yeah.
Virtuosity. Mm-hmm. Obviously this film. Mm-hmm. Something else? Well, The Matrix.
Yeah, definitely The Matrix.
And they were all way, way too... Maybe it's you make a movie in the 90s and, you know, in 6 years, it's going to be the millennium and you want it to be about the millennium. So guess what? Russell Crowe is a goo man that came out of a computer. It's 1999.
Yeah.
The movie's being made in 1993. It's like optimistic. In the movie Virtuosity, Denzel Washington remarks that people used to sign off their emails with a smiley face. Buddy, you got no idea.
Oh, there you can be so many more emojis.
People used to pay for smiley faces.
Yeah, right.
Now nobody will pay for it, so iPhone just updates them as you go. And in this film, it is, set in 1999, but comes out in 1995. So in 4 years, somebody comes up with the ability to record somebody's experiences and allow you to play that back completely.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy. And you don't get the sense that it's a different universe, United States or world. You get the sense that it is
they don't say that, when the French won World War II or whatever.
Right. It doesn't seem like an alternate universe. So it seems like this has happened in a short amount of time.
No, in fact, the things that happen in the film are very much about what's happening in the early 90s, which is another thing that a lot of movies in the 90s wanted to do.
That's true.
It wasn't Crash like the latest entry into it came out in 2004, but shouldn't it have come out in the 90s?
It really should have.
Do you want to talk about what happens in Strange Days? And this is a elevator pitch, right? You can do this.
Oh God.
His name is Lenny.
Yeah, Lenny, played by Ralph. Why do I say?
It's Rafe, actually.
Rafe, excuse me. Rafe Fiennes. He's the protagonist, and he's an ex-cop, and he basically there's this, like we were talking about, this virtual reality headset thing that's called, do they call it a squid?
Yes, it's called a squid.
And you put it on your head, and then it records what you see through your eyes. And so he collects. Somehow it's recorded on this device that you have to keep close to you too, and it's like mini discs. I know. I don't know why we thought that was gonna really take off, but
so here's the deal. Forget monitors, forget tiny TVs, watch TVs on your wrist.
Right.
We can beam images into your brain.
Yeah.
They're played off of something the size of a VCR.
Yeah.
It's funny what speculative fiction thinks is possible and what isn't.
I know. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But so basically, he has this guy he goes and he talks to, and he will buy tapes that he can sell to other people. He'll make copies or what have you. So he's selling people on the hardware, the squid, and then the experience is the tapes and everything. And he's kind of, the way they talk about it's kind of like it's like a drug, and it can be like an addiction for people because they can get sucked into it and do it a whole bunch and then not really be paying attention to reality.
Is that part of it?
I feel like that's a part of it.
I feel like they keep saying that, but nobody in the film really seems to have a problem with that except for Lenny.
Well, Lenny does.
Yeah.
We don't know about everybody else. We're kind of like that.
We're constantly told that.
I feel like
Philo, he's a tape head now. All he does is just watch The Wire or whatever.
We are being
told. I never
told.
really see that.
Okay.
Anyway, doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Anyways, he gets mixed up in this thing that kind of becomes it's a new crime he has to basically solve. And there's his ex-girlfriend.
He gets sent a tape of somebody being raped and murdered. Oh,
it's horrific.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe we'll just title the show this, but we're just going to give you all of the Twigger warnings. Is like when don't get your hair cut too short.
Oh my god.
All the trigger warnings for this. It is violence, sexual violence. This is a rough film for a breezy 90s sci-fi actioner.
It's really rough.
Yeah. So anyway, go ahead.
So it involves his ex-girlfriend Faith, who is an aspiring musician, but I guess used to, or I don't know, still she's does why can't I talk?
Luckily, we're in the Willis Tower, so this elevator pitch can go on for a while.
Oh my god! Okay, sorry. She's played by Juliette Lewis.
Juliette Louis-Dreyfus.
I kept saying her name wrong. I'm sorry, Juliette Lewis.
Would you eat my dingo for me?
I know. And he's obsessed with her. So this horrible crime that he gets sent a tape of happens to her friend Iris, who had come and seen him and said I'm messed up in something, and Faith is messed up in it too.
Johnny Mnemonic. Sorry, I was thinking of
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. I don't think I've actually ever seen that though.
Really?
Yeah.
You telling me you haven't seen Johnny Mnemonic?
I'm telling you I haven't seen Johnny Mnemonic.
I see it.
Okay. Well, see, now I got to see it.
It's Jesus time. You've totally seen it. A dolphin.
No, I don't think I have.
We've seen it for the show.
When?
Once again, I'll cut this out.
Oh God. Okay. Anyways, all right. So, basically, he decides largely because he's obsessed with Faith, but also just because this horrible thing happened to this person that to Iris, to a friend of his. He has to figure this out, and he has to figure it out soon. And his friend Mace, who's played by Angela Bassett, gets caught up into the whole thing too, because she's just helping him out. And
we forgot to mention that you forgot to mention that it's not one crime that he gets on tape. It's two crimes. It's this rape and murder of Iris, but it's also the execution of this this guy named Jericho 1, who's like a rapper, and he's like a community leader.
He's kind of like a Malcolm X figure. I kind of felt like they were trying to make him out to be, even though he is a rapper as well.
You don't think Malcolm would have rapped?
Maybe.
But he's like religious though, right? So his raps would have sucked. It's like, my name is Malcolm, and I'm here to say that Allah shows you the only way. Break it down.
Oh no. I could kind of see that. Yeah, let's not get into that.
I apologize to the Nation of Islam.
But yeah, this horrible thing, and that got recorded from Iris's thing, and she observed this, and then these cops were
she's the witness to this.
So these cops murdered Jericho 1 and his friend.
Racial tensions are at a peak.
Yeah,
not fiction.
Yeah,
we'll talk about it.
So those are the things that he's trying to investigate and trying to figure out.
You kind of dumped the puzzle box out. You didn't put the puzzle together, but all the pieces are on the table.
I mean,
right?
I guess one other thing I should mention is the guy the perp who murdered Iris. He put a squid on her too, so she could jack into his squid and like see and sense like what he was seeing and sensing.
It's not really important.
It was really
other than
awful,
he's just really weird. Yeah, but just a screwed up guy.
Yeah, really messed up. Anyways.
Yeah. Okay, so like we said, this is rough, and I love it when I feel like the '90s was trying to, in addition to kind of like revisiting the fashion and styles of the '70s, was trying to do future stuff. That's why we had like silver puffy vests and the Cyclops
reflected
glasses and we were trying to do future stuff. It's the future,
right? Do
that hair where it's like dreadlocks, but it's like individual spiky dreadlocks that come out from the top. Well, just hackers, right?
Yeah, it's hackers.
You're wearing a rash guard, and that sort of thing, and a lot of eyeshadow, right?
Yeah.
So it's supposed to be, it's the future, and it's still the 90s. It's perfect. It's like, let's go into the future. Same decade.
Yeah.
And it's just pretty rough. So like only 90s kids will repress this.
Yeah.
And
yes, exactly.
And so I wanted to mention, so the reason I think this is cyberpunk is because it's literally noir. It's a character who's an ex-cop.
Yes.
And every interaction he has with somebody either starts or ends with them beating the shit out of him. That's a noir thing. The noir hero has to suffer.
Yeah.
There's a femme fatale that he is trying to connect with who doesn't want him. But it's also a William Gibson story, isn't it?
Kind of feels like it.
Not just because it's cyberpunk, but one of William Gibson's original sci-fi short stories was called Fragments of a Hologram Rose.
Okay.
And it's set in his kind of crappy future. I don't think it's officially a sprawl story, but it's set in a similar future. And it introduces the idea of SimStim, this technology that allows you to watch someone's recorded experiences.
Okay. Sounds very similar.
So, in the world, you can do it yourself, but, it's replaced movies or exists along with movies as entertainment. So there are like professional, sim stars, and they go off and it's kind of like YouTube now. Like a YouTube influencer is like, "What's up, everybody? I'm here in Bermuda," and you're gonna like just see what Jake Paul sees while he's doing something, right? It's that, but you can be that person. And in the story, a guy he's an engineer for a Simpson. He's a Simpson engineer, I think. So he's got all these tapes, and his girlfriend has just left him, and he's experiencing this sleepless night, and he keeps like, looking at these tapes, which I think are her. Like he's inside of her, and remembering like being with her, and like resenting her for leaving him, and all this. And the reason it's called Fragments of Hologram Roses, and I don't think this is true about holograms, but he has this hologram postcard, and he tries to destroy it, but it's the hologram. The way it's designed is like the rose is in every part of the hologram. So every piece has the rose as well.
Oh, interesting.
So he can't get rid of this memory. And also the idea that every facet, every way, the rose is sort of different from every direction. It's sort of like we're all kind of different people, like in our own way. And so it's really interesting and a good thing to rip off for a Catherine Bigelow movie.
It sounds like they borrowed generously.
Not to mention the fact that the main character, Lenny, is kind of a sleaze, but he's a good talker. Yes. That's kind of reminiscent of a character like, Case from Neuromancer. Also, Mace rhymes with Case.
Totally does.
Mace is a good name for a tough, person who's gonna beat you up.
Yep.
And knock you down. But she's a very much
of a weapon.
Yeah, she's very much a sort of Molly Millions character. They have the dynamic that Case and Molly have, where Case is like the deck jacker, net runner.
Yes, right.
And then Molly's the heavy and the enforcer.
Right.
So.
Yes.
I mean.
Heavily borrowed.
Harlan Ellison took him to court.
Yeah, right.
Is William Gibson just too nice? I know that he's nice. He's very nice. But he must have like watched this movie and been like, okay, all right.
Maybe he just was like, yeah, whatever. Yeah, he probably is too nice. I can't imagine. Wow. Okay. So Harlan Ellison did take him to court?
Yeah, for Terminator.
Oh, yeah. Right. Okay.
Maybe you could get Cameron in the 80s, but like post T2, you couldn't touch Cameron.
I guess.
But that's what makes me like it. Those elements. So I wouldn't complain.
No.
I'm not sure I would remember this.
I mean,
I think those are the strongest elements of the film.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of other things that the film is trying to do. And it's very significant that this film is not only about this weird technology and this sleazy guy and it's a noir story, but it is about white cops,
yes,
executing a black community leader,
yes,
and the city being a powder keg ready to explode over that.
Yes.
Ever heard of it?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it presages. Let's do them both. We'll have both cuts in there.
Okay.
A lot of the stuff that we went through last year.
Yes.
And are currently going through now and have been going through since before this movie was made.
Yes.
Now, it falls under the category of helpful white folks because there are, as far as I can tell, no black people involved in this thing except for Angela Bassett.
Yeah. Yeah. For
Mrs. Malcolm X.
Yeah. Right. Good point.
But it belongs to this. And apparently, like, the story was conceived in the 80s by Cameron.
Okay.
After he read William Gibson's short stories.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
I'm guessing.
Yeah.
But Bigelow was inspired to add the race politics stuff after the 92 riots.
Okay, with Rodney King.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so there's this whole like subset of Crash is a great example. There's this whole subset of like white people just, oh, man, this is rough. This is rough. I got to write something about this. Let's definitely get a white person's perspective on this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody talks about the DS9 episodes, past tense, part 1 and 2, which came about because a bunch of writers couldn't get into. They were trapped on the road in Burbank because the cops were cleaning out the Skid Row, and they're like, "That's pretty rough, huh?" When I get to the studio, after I've had my latte, of course, we have to write an episode about this.
I know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if I want to hear what you have to say about it, but I guess something got made.
I mean,
we can talk about how effective it was.
I don't think I think those are good episodes, and I think that they're powerful episodes, and it gets you talking. Did they necessarily go as far?
Did they literally end with one character going, "Wow, so what do we do?" The other character's like,
It's like great.
The end.
I know.
But Clint Howard was in it.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's hard to know what to do in these situations. It's not like you necessarily have an answer. So in a way, I'm like kind of glad they didn't make something up and shove it down our throats. But at the same time, it's kind of disappointing.
Yeah.
To just leave it open-ended like that.
Yeah. And, we'll, let's not talk about it yet, but we will talk about how it's disappointing in terms of message as well. So anyway, if this had been, I guess Bigelow was, obviously crucial to getting it made. And she wasn't really on board until the early 90s. But maybe if this had come out in 86 or been developed and come out in the late 80s, you would have lost the 90s aesthetic, obviously.
Well, you definitely would have lost the 90s aesthetic.
It would have been more 80s, probably, an 80s future and neon.
Well, that makes me wonder, too, if Mace would have been played by a black actor.
Yeah.
Or,
Malcolm X, 91.
Yeah. Or if we would have had, if Bigelow was the one who wanted to incorporate...
Keanu Reeves is...
Yeah. But if she wanted to incorporate the race elements into it and into LA and the conflict between the cops and... I mean, literally, they shoot them at a traffic stop.
What if that part...
Which, unfortunately, is something that happens.
I wouldn't want this. There's a reason that we just went through literal race riots caused by black people being killed by cops. Yeah. We lived that part of this movie.
Yeah.
So I think it's telling that when we always do, look back to entertainment for context on this, or just solace, or commiseration, nobody brought up this movie. Like, I haven't heard anybody talk about this film at all.
Well, and the reason is
I guess we're just gonna talk about it now, because it misses hard, and it misses in exactly the way that you would expect a white person to miss. Throughout the course of this film, and we're just going to spoil it because we can't really talk about the film without spoiling it.
No.
Throughout the course of the film, we are presented with the idea that Vincent D'Onofrio, who's playing an insane person, a rage shaped man, and then William Fichtner this is early for him, so he doesn't really have a character, but he's definitely a weirdo.
Where else I know I've seen that actor
everywhere.
Yeah,
from The Dark Knight to Go, you've just seen him everywhere.
Yeah.
Armageddon. He often plays either a cop or a soldier or a guy who's off, like he does in.
He wasn't in Wings, was he?
Wings?
Yeah. Am I thinking of somebody else?
I think so.
Okay.
Maybe as a guest star.
Maybe I'm. Okay, never mind.
But it's exactly what you would think. So these cops they do this. You get you get the sense that, so the tensions are high.
Yeah.
They're comically high.
Yes.
Like, Lenny is driving down the road and there are like tanks on Wilshire Boulevard.
And Molotov cocktails being thrown and cars on fire.
I know. They're worried about a riot at the end, and it's laughable because a riot has been taking place throughout the entire film. Over the 4 days that the film happens, a riot is happening.
But you kind of get this
and we don't get the idea that we live in, like you said, this is our future. This isn't RoboCop. This is... it's just going on. And so they're worried about a riot. It's like, what are you talking about? And so you got these two cops who are the textbook bad apples. It isn't that the entire police force has a problem. It isn't that
right.
That cops or the National Guards and their soldiers, the authority figures are profiling people. Their culture is wrong. Like in real life.
Right.
It's just that like Vincent D'Onofrio somehow survived shooting himself in the face in Vietnam, and now he's transferred back home, and he's an LA cop, and he's also just as crazy.
Right.
Officer Pyle. And so you got that. You have this tape, which shows it's the George Floyd tape.
Yeah,
They've got the George Floyd tape. And, Angela Bassett's like, well, I think people need to see this. And Lenny's like, hold on. Let's meet in the middle. You think people are ready for this? I don't know if they're ready for this.
I'm like...
And she's, throughout the film, that she's not going to land in the right spot because she's like, let it come. Whatever needs to happen has to happen, right? And that, no, for her to have an arc, she's going to land on, let's not show everybody. That's very disappointing.
It's very disappointing.
At the end of the movie, she shows it to the nice cop, to the commissioner. He's a good man. And so she shows it to him.
Lenny directed her to do that.
At one point, they're going to give it to the press. And then Lenny's like, oh, let's just give it to the nice cop. Strange Days 2. No one has seen this tape.
I know, right?
It goes right in the commission's microwave. And there's no tape anymore, right? Yeah. There's that. Then there's the whole confrontation at the end, which I think is poignant. And the riot kind of starts anyway, but it doesn't this movie should end with skyscrapers being on fire. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But instead there's a very small contained riot in the middle of the largest New Year celebration ever.
Yeah.
And cops beat up a black woman and then cops shoot other cops and everything's fine and everybody kisses at midnight.
Well, and then the 2 cops who murdered Jericho and his friend and
they get shot.
Yeah. They're dead.
Instead of just going she assaulted me. And then those cops either shooting or just, beating into unconsciousness Angela Bassett, letting them go and everything's fine.
Yeah.
Turning their body cams off.
Well, I guess I have
right?
a small...
That's what would happen. We know that this is fiction because we lived through it.
I know. I just have a problem.
And it's very disappointing for that
away.
reason.
I mean,
and the only thing you can be instructed is steal from William Gibson. He's got the best stuff. And 2, white people can't make these stories because they'll never get it right. Are we done?
Yeah. I mean, I'm very disappointed that, first of all, we have the commissioner make the correct decision to arrest these cops who are guilty of murder. But instead of the other cops going in and tasing them or arresting them right away, one of the cops, takes his own life, and the other cop just gets... I'm very disappointed that I mean, who knows that they would get justice in this crooked,
But yeah, right. But that all happens because it's a movie.
I know.
It isn't, this squid technology was... There's something kind of interesting in the idea that, I mean, this is hardly a Philip K. Dick story, although it's very Philip K. Dick-y, isn't it? It's very, crap. What's the one with the super suit, the Keanu Reeves one?
I don't know.
Oh, I'm really bad at this. Keanu Reeves and Winona Ryder and Robert Downey Jr. and Woody Harrelson.
Yeah.
They're doing a thing. So A Scanner Darkly.
I don't know that one.
Okay, I'll cut that out too. A Scanner Darkly is based on a Philip K. Dick thing. It's about a counterculture. I don't think he would call it cyberpunk, but it's kind of punky. And it's about a cop who has this surveillance technology. And you get that in this. The squid was developed by the government to replace... So really, why is our informant wearing that dime store wig?
I know,
he's got a squid on.
Yeah, right.
But exactly. It's surveillance. It's repurposed surveillance equipment. Mm-hmm. That's kind of interesting, but it's also illegal.
Yeah.
It's cracked down, like you said. It's controlled like drugs because it's dangerous.
Yeah.
We don't know why it's dangerous. It is. It's dangerous so Lenny can have a job and be a dealer, basically. Right. And so the commissioner watches it at the end. It's not admissible. It's an illegal technology.
Yeah. I know.
So what evidence? There's no evidence. You're right. Whether the commissioner was a good cop, or not, there would be no way to prosecute Vincent D'Onofrio. It wouldn't even...
I didn't even think about it like that.
Yeah, he just comes in it like a movie at the end and goes,
yeah, I know.
Arrest those men.
And he walks away.
Yeah, and those cops do not do a good job of arresting those men.
No, and
you have them lay down,
yeah.
You read them their rights, and you put the cuffs on.
I know.
You don't have him lurch to his feet and then get your gun away from you and go, ah.
I know. And then the commissioner also doesn't help Angela Bassett up, which I'm like, screw you, Mr. Commissioner.
But he gives her a ride later.
Yeah, I guess.
So yeah, I like Lenny. I like what he's doing, and I like the idea. This is something else that I think is interesting. If you took out the racial. So I don't know if I haven't said this. I meant to say before. What if there was no racial element?
Yeah.
I guess I'm glad there was. But what if there wasn't? You'd have a story that was a noir murder story.
Yep.
And it would be set in the world of porn.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of what this is.
A lot of the tapes are porn.
A lot of the tapes are porn.
Yeah.
And I think that who knows if you made this now, and porn is a lot more, again, mainstream. The 90s was like, I think, a low point for porn, right? 70s high.
Right.
It's basically high now.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a porn element to it. But the whole thing is that, like, he's getting these tapes and he's criticizing people for not doing it right. You know what I mean? Like, this guy is like
yes.
He pays a guy to like have sex with a girl or like two girls or something like that. Cause he's going to get this tape, but he's saying like, now make sure he's directing it. He's a director.
Right.
He's saying, make sure you do this and don't look around, make love with your eyes. We need to, feel this experience. It's not just like, you're just getting railed here.
Right.
And I thought that was an interesting element of it, that he takes this weird pride in his work. He is an artiste.
Yep.
Something that Case is called in Neuromancer.
Oh.
That he, to him, does this, this shitty sort of thing. He's at this point, Case is like, dealing meth or something like that. Like, he's not like the cyber cowboy that he used to be, but
right.
he takes a pride in what he does. And I think I like that about Lenny. Have you ever heard Ralph Fiennes use an American accent? Is this the only American accent he's ever?
Good question.
He's a little in and out, but
yeah. I don't know that I have. It's kind of interesting seeing him be the romantic lead, because I don't feel like we see that an awful lot.
Well, you didn't think Schindler's List was romantic? It's very romantic.
I guess.
No,
not really.
No.
No. Not really.
So like it's a detective story.
Yes.
And the tapes are the confessions, or the tapes are the evidence, I guess.
Yeah, I was thinking evidence, but confessions too.
There's definitely an 80s version of this where, the killer's, leaves you a tape and then you play the tape and it's like,
right.
Oh my God, that's my house.
Yes.
We get that literally in this when the killer goes to Lenny's house while he's sleeping.
Yeah.
You agree that like the killer's, the logistics are impossible. There's no way that he could have done all these things.
No. Well, I mean, we've already said we were going to spoil things, right?
Yeah,
like,
I guess.
So I guess we haven't even talked about this character. His friend Max is a PI, and he seems like he's everywhere at once. Apparently he was the killer, even though like we see him all over and he's hanging out with Lenny and he's doing all this stuff and he's tracking Faith, Juliette Lewis's character. And but he also apparently went to the trouble of freaking Lenny out even further by like going to his house and putting a knife to his throat while he was sleeping. So,
which I guess is supposed to goad him into wanting to solve this.
I think so.
Even though we know that he's a pretty good guy.
Yeah.
Like he's obsessed with Faith, but he is doing. I don't want to defend a stalker, but like he gives saving the cat. What if you gave the cat who had its legs amputated a video of a cat playing with a ball of string?
I know.
Like he saves the cat very early in the film. We know he's a good guy. Why does he need to be pushed other than to just create tension for the audience? So that means that Tom Sizemore is zipping all over town.
Oh God, yes.
On LA streets that are barricaded with tanks on them.
Right.
Somehow he is flying from location to location, recording a video of him assault, putting a knife to Lenny's throat, then delivering the tape, then showing up 5 minutes later and being like, "Whoa, that's tape. Crazy, you got a tape."
I know.
He's just like, he's not motivated by anything except for his sort of effort attitude about the end of the world, which no one else seems to share. It's true. In the 90s, a lot of people thought like, something weird was going to happen. They mentioned like the rapture in the movie.
Yes.
They mentioned all these sort of apocalyptic things. And he has his fun little speech, which is, a post-Pulp Fiction-esque kind of thing about like every kind of food, every kind of music's been tried, every kind of screwing's been tried. Like it's all done, man. There's nothing left to do.
Right.
And so that's supposed to be to set the scene for the movie in which there's 5 characters and he's the only one who ever talks about that. And then also give him motivation at the end for why he would sell out his friend and kill Michael Wincott and all this other stuff because he just doesn't care anymore. Also, he didn't get a pension because he got shot in the back of the head or something when he was a cop.
Yeah. And then like...
Also, he's got the head injury. And they're like, maybe this guy's got a head injury
he's colorblind.
The tapes are blue or they're colorblind.
Yeah. Well, and
in retrospect, you go, well, of course. Maybe you don't get it, I guess, as the movie's going. Is that good or bad? I don't know.
It didn't quite hit me right at first, but like I think I figured it out right before it was revealed in the film. But
how do you feel about Tom Sizemore's O-face, or the O-face of really any of the actors in the film? Apparently,
quite a bit of Juliette Lewis's O-face.
Oh yeah, like this. Oh, Lenny, so good. She's a good actress, right?
See, you and I were talking about this off mic, and I think so.
She was nominated for Cape Fear.
But like, yeah.
And I don't think she's ever got a nomination ever again.
No.
She's she's in a band. She's a lead singer of a band still.
I could see that.
And I don't know if that was going on before or after this, but you know, she's those are PJ Harvey songs that she's singing. Actually.
Is it really?
Yeah. But she's good on stage.
Mm-hmm.
But there's this weird thing, and I think that she's always been cast because she's weird.
She's a little weird.
You know what I
mean? Yeah.
Sort of off-putting.
Yeah.
And not necessarily. She would have been a great replicant if this was Blade Runner.
Yes.
But you get that in this, and we're supposed to feel. I don't know. I see a more traditional performance by another actress of the time being, you know, clearly trying to act like she doesn't care, you know, submerging herself in like this rock hedonism, but still not necessarily having feelings for Lenny, but feeling bad for him, you know, feeling empathy for his pain over their breakup. Right. But instead she's just like, you know, sometimes you have to just take life by the dick or whatever. And then, you know, ride it until it's over. It's over! It's over, Lenny! It's over.
I don't love you anymore.
I don't love you anymore.
Do you get it?
And you're like, is she on drugs? Is she supposed to be on drugs?
I know.
Because you might act weird if you were like on drugs, but...
When she has this like super dramatic speech.
You know what? It's above criticism. I can't criticize it. I mean, it works. I just think that she seems a little flat sometimes.
I would agree with that.
And she's always at her toilet.
Refreshing
in every
her
scene
boobs.
that she's in. She's always doing applying something to her boobs.
Yes.
In every scene.
Yeah.
If the movie had gone on, she'd be testifying at the trial, and she's.
Are you sure her boobs?
Your Honor, could you ask the witness to stop lubricating her boobs while she gives testimony? But yeah.
I mean, I think that would be one of my criticisms is that she is her character, I would argue, is only a sex object in this film. And I think.
But it's not, well.
I think that they could have given her.
I think it's intentional.
More. I think it's intentional too, but I don't think it's three-dimensional.
That's true. As the vamp, you know, the noirish vamp in this, you think that she would have that character usually does fall away at the end, right? They're there to entice the hero or to start it off,
right? And
then they usually fall out of the story until the embrace at the end when, you know, the bad guy is defeated and the cops are coming. And she is that basically until they don't get together at the end because she's bad. I kind of like I don't know how you would get them together at the end. It's good that they don't. But, But they don't. But Bigelow doesn't do enough with it because she basically kind of helps him defeat Tom Sizemore.
She does.
Then he does defeat Tom Sizemore. She's like, "Oh my God, you're okay," and he's just like, "Ugh," and he just like walks away.
He just walks away like he's disgusted with her.
Well,
I don't know.
He's been through a lot at this point, but I mean, like you could give us a little more to have us understand
where they're both at that moment.
Yeah,
to realize.
But then again, Lord of the Rings. This movie's not over.
I know.
Now we have to resolve the other movie that's inside this movie, which is the civil rights drama.
Yeah, I know.
But Lenny's an ally. You know, in that first tape, he's listening to Bob Marley.
Yeah, I know.
And later on, he helps avenge the death of a gangster rapper.
Yeah.
So he's cool.
Yeah.
He has a lot of Earth, Wind, and Fire albums. A lot. All three of them. They have more than that, but.
Well, and he kisses Angela Bassett at the end, so you know.
Didn't want them to get together. Didn't think that was in the offing, but I feel like the kiss was earned. I think.
Well, see, I got that she was insinuating before that she didn't want to keep doing this dangerous thing because she didn't think it was worth it. And also she cares about him, not just because he's her friend, but she likes him.
Right, but...
And she wants to be with him. And
right.
She's right there. It's reality.
Yeah, but like she's, I guess, it's an ex-husband, but, you know...
It's an ex-husband.
Yeah, but her ex-husband is in prison. It's not like we're expecting him to come back. But their connection began because he was kind. I guess that makes him a good father figure.
I think we're supposed to think that.
I don't know. Now not just because you're for it. Now I'm against it because, you know, they could be platonic. They're both, something I like about them both in that they both sort of spar over in the film is that they're both professionals.
Yeah.
She is, you know, is a
limo driver,
but she's a security
because she will
person basically.
She'll beat some people up if they get rough with you.
She was a waitress before. It looked like, so I don't know where she got her skills from, but yeah, she's a bodyguard, and she takes her job very seriously. And then she looks down on Lenny, who she thinks of as, you know, basically a drug dealer. But at the same time, but he's like, no, I'm not a drug dealer. I provide, you know, these services and experiences, you know. And there's the funny thing where her client, who's just because it's not an 80s movie doesn't mean you can't have a Japanese businessman.
Right.
The Japanese businessman is like, turns out to be really into the wire stuff.
Yes. Which
doesn't go anywhere, but it sort of drives a wedge between Mace and him.
Yeah.
Boy, we've been all over the shop here.
We really have.
Do you like how they drop him off at the St. James Club? What happens there? No.
Isn't that where he sees Faith play or sing?
Oh, no. And Faith says, you know, Lenny, that's why movies are still better than tape. Because that's what it was. Because the music swells and the credits start rolling and it's over. It's over!
Yeah, that's it. It wasn't like, and it was like the way that she said it, that wasn't like an earned, like, I'm getting emotional and in your face right now.
No, yeah. She just remember. Oh, yeah, I'm supposed to yell, it's over.
Right, exactly.
That'll tell him that it's over.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so anyway, lots of O-faces. You have to respect both James Cameron and Catherine Bigelow in their films. People just go for it. They're real Blue Flame specials. They're FBI agents.
Yeah.
I don't know if Catherine Bigelow if she has a normal range of emotions and like empathy, but her actors do insane things that she has obviously directed them to do, and she's fine with it. Yeah. I haven't watched The Hurt Locker in a while, but
I haven't either.
Jeremy Renner is prone to, you get your hammer, you tell him. Like it was a scene directed by Catherine Bigelow. So you get that in this, and it is the scenes of the people reacting to the tapes, which are not only, they're watching something horrific happen, but also they're recorded by somebody who is getting sexual gratification. And so the person, so there's a weird thing, like not only are you watching like a assault, but you are kind of being assaulted yourself because you don't want this to happen. I didn't sit down to like fire up this sexy tape that I'm going to enjoy. Like he does when he's watching his tapes with Faith. He has to feel this, and he has to watch the thing because he needs to know what happened. But he has to feel these things that he doesn't want to feel. Like it's a very, men can be raped too.
Wow.
Well, all I'm saying is it's only the men that watch the O-Face tapes. Angela Bassett watches a tape, and it's the tape of the guy Jericho 1 being killed.
Yeah.
So it's only the men who are like, I have to go through that. Okay, I guess I have to have this orgasm.
Well, and one of the people who does it is Max, who's the perpetrator.
Right.
And he's like, oh, that's awful. That guy's sick. Yeah, we know.
Right.
What?
Well, it's not, I mean, they can't give it away at that point. That's how you could, except for speaking of dime store wigs, you should peg him from the first scene he's in that something's going wrong because that hair. But that's supposed to clear him, it's clumsy.
Yeah, it is a little clumsy.
What else? You like the Matrix? Like the Matrix crew?
Yeah, this what's his name? Heavies.
Michael Wincott, who probably should have been in the Matrix. I don't know where he was. Didn't want to go to Australia.
Sounds like
he has a gang of toughs who always run into Lenny, are always beating him up, and they're all dressed like they're kind of like you know the transitional form, the fish with legs? They're the fish with legs between Hackers and the Matrix.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's too long for an episode title. But...
That's pretty good, though. Yeah. I mean, they're all kind of ridiculous caricatures, aren't they? In their own kind of way. We got one guy who's bald and he's got like tattoos on his head, and we got another girl who's got like white blonde hair and it's in dreadlocks, you know, and who especially reminds me of the Matrix, maybe because I'm reminded of the Wachowskis. I don't know. And who else? There's another person who's in the heavies, and I can't remember what they look like.
Other guy.
Yeah.
So they give the tape to the cops. It's not great. At one point, talking about Sizemore and his gigantic dodges the movie makes to like try to keep him from being suspected by the audience. He talks about like secret death squads on the cops, and then later on he's like, "No, I just made that all up." It's not made up. It's real. It's absolutely real. Yeah. Like, this movie was made by liberals in LA. Why didn't they go after? I guess Fox wouldn't have made it or something like that. Like, why not? Even at this, Rampart was like, I don't know if Rampart had been broken up at that point, but like, we knew that this was real.
Did we?
You could write it into the movie because it was plausible, because it was real.
I wonder why they didn't. Maybe they thought that was just the step too far or something.
For a movie that like basically just violates like all sense of what's right and acceptable for human behavior. Pull your punches on the cops' criticism.
Yeah, we don't want cops to hate this
Show
movie.
that lady hugging that guardsman at the end when the ball drops.
Yeah.
Would you recommend this film?
I mean, I think if you're curious, I'm going to have to say no. I think BB, because it doesn't, I think it has a lot of things that are great that it's exploring and that it's looking at. But like you said, it misses. And so I don't know that it's really worth your time getting triggered by all the things if it doesn't land at the end. Why go through that if it's not going to bring it home?
Does all the slaves in Roots, do they all get away?
I'm guessing no.
Yeah. But I mean, it's worth watching still.
I hesitate to say it's not worth watching, but I feel like maybe it's not.
And this is a big ask. This might be a big ask from a lot of people. But as long as you don't have to as long as you don't take on the value system and the mores of every piece of entertainment that you watch.
Of course.
I would absolutely recommend this, as long as you know that it's wrong. That it is it's a very liberal movie. It doesn't go far enough. I mean, to the left. It should go farther. I'm on the left of liberal. I want to make sure everybody knows that.
I know what you meant.
I'm denigrating it by calling it liberal. It's like, give power back to the institutions. It's only bad apples. They'll fix things. As long as you can understand that, then you can watch a very stylized movie like a Michael Mann movie, which are all about cops, by the way. Maybe that's why I don't like Michael Mann. And yeah, I mean, other than that, yeah, I think you can watch it and go, I see where it failed.
Right. Well, and I think that there are a lot of people who know that the lie we've been fed for years, it's only a few bad apples, that's just a bunch of BS.
I don't think anybody believes that. A lot of flags with blue stripes in the middle on Facebook.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
yeah. Yeah.
Okay, well, I guess maybe I'm just running in more liberal groups. I don't think that most people believe that it's just a few bad apples.
Oh, no. Liberals believe that.
That it's just a few bad apples?
Yes. What movie did you watch? Did we watch the same movie?
Yeah, we watched the same movie. Well, let me just say something. The phrase, it's just a few bad apples, is a bunch of BS anyways, because one bad apple can turn a whole barrel bad.
Yeah, that's the whole saying.
But I don't think that people understand that. They think that you can just take the bad apples out.
Why did you put it back? Soapbox.
Anyways.
Remember thrash? Remember 90s thrash metal?
No, not really.
Check out this film.
Yeah.
This film actually has a pretty crazy soundtrack. It's pretty eclectic.
It is pretty eclectic.
And I don't think half of the bands with black people in them that we see in the movie end up on the soundtrack. But clearly they're trying to do something. But it's just also, again, it's just like Catherine Bigelow takes out her NPR tote bag and gets her CD folder. And she's like, oh, here's some world music. She's trying to show. Look, I appreciate that she's trying. They're at the gala. There's a taiko drum band playing, which is like a thing, I guess. There's a traditional African drum band playing. A lot of drums here. And the original drummer from Sonic Youth plays Tick in this.
What? Really?
So I
didn't know that.
Yeah,
that's crazy. They're the band that's just like bagpipes,
but it's not enough
at some point too.
Not
I know
enough.
they were trying. She was trying.
Actually, now I'm looking at the band list from the thing, and there's like Deep Forest, mixed ethnic with electronic sounds and dance beats or chill out beats. So I think I'm wrong.
Oh, okay.
There's a lot of guys with no shirt on, sweatily playing a bass in this.
Yes.
But then it comes to the soundtrack, and they pulled the trigger.
Okay.
On the Thousand Villages thing. So.
Well, I wish we'd seen a little bit more of that in the actual film, but.
Oh, we do. We see it in the film.
Yeah, that's true. We do.
Yeah. Is it 10,000 villages? I had 1/10 of the villages required. So, is my theory proven or disproven? My theory that movies named after songs aren't good.
Oh, this is named after a song? I didn't even realize
it's a Doors song.
Oh, I think maybe you mentioned that to me before. It's not fantastic. So, yeah, I would say I think it proves your theory.
And yet I would say it's all right.
It's okay.
So we're trapped. We're caught in the middle.
Oh, no.
This is 67% on Rotten Tomatoes, 68, I think, on Metacritic. So everyone has spoken. The rating is correct, everyone. Yeah. Everyone agrees. This movie is like,
It's okay.
But if you want to watch it, let us know what you thought of it. And do that by going to social media at Just Enough Trope, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And let us know what you thought. Let us know what you think about the show. Let us know what's going on for you. Got any resolutions?
Yeah.
I resolve to make no resolutions.
There you go.
I've seen a lot of articles recently. I think these 2 decades have taken a toll on people. The quality of Slate articles has gone way down.
Oh, wow.
As if that was possible. I've seen a lot of articles that are like, face it, you're not going to do those resolutions.
Whoa.
Give yourself permission to not improve yourself. Mm-hmm. And then another great article from The Ringer. Let's face it, millennials and Zoomers are the same generation.
What? They're clearly not, but geez, wow.
No, the digital, the internets have made everyone the same.
The same? That's not true.
No, it's not true at all.
No, I don't think that'll ever be true.
I won't out this writer, but he's got a lot of garbage opinions. So anyway, wouldn't trust him. But let us know what you've got going on in the new year. Also, help us out. Make your first resolution to subscribe to our show.
Yes.
To give us a review and to give us a rating. Mm-hmm. Start the year off right. Gym's full. Let's face it, you're not going to the gym.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. It's so cynical.
So give us a rating. Give us 5 squids. Yeah. Now, if there were actual squids in this movie, you've got something. That's the new thing. It wouldn't be Cyberpunk dead. Cyberpunk dead before Neuromancer came out. Everybody in the movement was like, this sucks. We're all moving on.
Right.
It's cool now, so it can't be cool.
Right.
Biopunk, on the other hand.
Oh, that's true.
Lenny's like, I'm your personal Jesus Christ Santa Claus man. Now check this out. Pulls a squid out of his jacket. Now just put this on your head.
Oh my God. And it's got wires on it.
Yes.
And stuff like, yeah. Mm-hmm.
That guy that he talks to in the bar.
Yeah.
He was gay in the first draft, right?
Do you think?
He's married. He's got a wife. He's got a ring. We see it. But he wants an experience that he can't have, right?
Yes.
No gay people in this film.
No.
Lenny's an ally because he says, you want a girl? You want a guy?
the suggestion
but of course,
is given.
that's coming from the dirtbag in the movie. So clearly being gay is, something illicit and you shouldn't do.
Right.
But in the first draft, he's gay, right? And then we rewrite the draft, and he's excited that he's a teenage girl taking a shower.
Which is gross.
It's a weird movie to give us 5 stars. We'll be back next week to talk about something else. Until then, we're signing off. I'm your host, Caliban.
I'm your co-host, Mikan Hana.
Keep the geek fires burning.